Hi, hello everyone, welcome to Healing Journeys. My name is Christelle Achia. On this channel, I share knowledge, content related to indigenous knowledge systems, more specifically African knowledge systems and also those of the diaspora to enable us to move on our healing journey, our life path in a more harmonious, balanced way. Today we're going to look at how we learn, and more specifically, I would like to put an emphasis on learning to learn differently. It is very important when we look at indigenous knowledge systems because they don't they don't approach life the same ways as we often tend to learn or tend to live, let's say, in this globalized Western capitalist and patriarchal world, right? So it is also important to keep in mind that not only to know that the world that we are in have like impact on us, but even the way that we learn, like even when we want to learn, let's say, any knowledge systems or any content related to indigenous knowledge, uh, it is also important to look at how we proceed, how we do that, how we learn. Let's say if you are interested in herbalism or, I don't know, sound healing or dancing, for instance, movement, right? If you are familiar with the video that I share, you know that dancing is something deep to my heart and something that I practice and that I share. It is important to pay attention to how we learn it. Even when you learn, let's say, African-based dances or African dances, it is also important to look at how we learn them. We have our own pedagogies, our own ways of teaching and ways of learning. So I think the first step is to be aware of that, to be aware that even before getting the content, even before understanding, learning the content, the way that is going to be taught to you and the way that you're going to learn are also important. Even I would say they are as important, even maybe more important than the content. Why I'm saying that is the way that we teach, and here I will maybe more refer to African knowledge systems, but from my experience and knowledge, I know it's also the case in other parts of the world. Even in indigenous Western European systems, for instance, the way that you teach, if you're a teacher, like it's how can I say, it's a journey for you as a teacher and also a journey for the learners. It's a life journey. That's one thing. It's part of a process. It's part of a life process. So the first thing is to understand, accept, and agree with the fact that when you engage in one way, in one direction, something that you want to learn, whatever it is, cooking, gardening, and so on, it's going to be a process, a journey, and a life journey. It's going to be a personal transformational journey. So learning is not only about intellectual activities, it's not only a mind activity, not only a thing where you need to, I don't know, learn by heart and then write it down. It's a process that is happening to you, with you, that is going to transform you. This is at the heart of indigenous teaching and learning processes. So I think it's important to have that in mind and to learn that way. I hope this is okay for you. I hope everyone is following it till there. If not, please don't hesitate to leave comments, questions in the description, in the comment section, sorry. So that's one thing, accepting that it's going to be a process. And by that meaning patience and trying and observing. Observation plays a key role in Indigenous teaching learning systems. Observing oneself, what is happening within you, with you. So it's very important to have this awareness and even learning to have this awareness. It's also part of the process of learning. Whatever you learn to have the awareness of what am I hearing, what am I seeing, what am I smelling, what am I feeling, all of that thing. How am I able to express myself and so on. All that, this self-awareness is part of the learning process. And as teacher, it's what you share with the learners, what you encourage them to learn, to appreciate, I would say. So this is key. This is very important to have in mind. And another thing that is very important is to consider that learning involves your whole self. So not only your physical self, but also your emotions, your energy, your spirit, of course, your soul. So your whole self. So you're not only learning physically. So this is also very important to to incorporate in your learning process. Then another thing is maybe more focusing on the teacher. If you're a learner, learning doesn't come only from one teacher, and actually your teacher is going to be there for to let's say to hold space for you to learn yourself. Learn to learn by yourself, meaning learn to observe and understand how processes are functioning. So meaning, or by observing, maybe I should say perceiving and observing. So learning to hear, to develop your hearing abilities, your seeing abilities, so physically but also spiritually. This is part of the learning process. Whatever you learn, you can, and it's part of the learning process to develop your self-awareness from all your senses, to develop how you connect to yourself, how you connect to your spirit. And if you already have connection with some of your benevolent ancestors, how you connect to them. If it's new for you, I have a couple of videos about how to connect with your ancestors. Who are the ancestors? I will share some links down, but don't hesitate to visit the profile, the account here. We have plenty of videos about that. So these are very important things. And another thing that we have in Indigenous learning teaching systems is we also rely on nature, what is called nature, like the other living beings, to teach us. We can learn from the plants, the trees, the flowers, the element, the wind, the water, the fire, and so on. This is part of the teaching learning processes. Of course, it requires some awareness. There are some techniques, some methods, and all of that you will learn how to develop them, to maintain them from your teachers. But the first, I would say, step is even to be aware that there are other ways of learning and teaching. This is very what I would like to highlight here. And if you are engaging in decolonizing yourself, learning more about indigenous, more specifically African knowledge systems, I really would like to encourage you to also pay attention to the tool that you use as you learn new content. It's also very important because this also shapes um, the way you think, the way you process knowledge, and of course, it has an impact on your nervous system. And we know how the nervous system is meaningful, important in our decision making processes, in our ways of perceiving the world, in our ways of interacting with each other. So this is where we can really act in order to have meaningful impact on ourselves, on our interaction with other people, and finally impact on the world. So that was what I wanted to highlight here. So if you want to try other ways of learning, I would like to invite you to join one of my online movement practice. It's for free, it's online, so you can join it from wherever you are in the world. We start again next week. By next week, maybe you will watch the video later. I mean, 2nd of December. We start Tuesday, 2nd of December. We start again, and we will have more sessions. I'm adding sessions like step by step. It's only 30 minutes online, and it's a practice designed not only to release stress, to release anxiety, but also to support you in order to foster, to develop, to nourish your self-awareness, especially your physical self-awareness, and to be more in touch with your physicality, with your body, and give space for your nervous system to relax, to calm down, to come to a more balanced state, at least for 30 minutes. And as we say, practice makes mastery. So you may not be able to see any difference from the first time. My encouragement here is to join as many times as you can. It's for free, and I have no intention to ask for payment for this practices. It's really a gift from my side to you. Of course, you can always tip me. It's not mandatory. It's really a practice to encourage you to foster, nourish self-awareness, and at least have a space of trying to be at peace, trying to be with yourself. So I hope to see you there. For now, that's all for me. And let's take care of each other, and also not to forget of ourselves. See you soon.